Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is taking place at Sweet Apple Yoga in Reno, Nevada from 4 to 5 p.m. every Friday. Mindfulness for Queers. I will also be uploading all of these talks and mindfulness practices up to YouTube as well. So you'll have a chance to access those on YouTube too anytime you want to replay them. Um, go. Um, I figured that maybe we would start today. Well, let me give you a little bit of an outline. My name is Enora Tawaji. I'm a queer human being, goes by she, they, them pronouns. And I have been studying mindfulness and yoga for about the last 10 or 15 years. In January, I'll be finishing a program with Tara Brock and Jack Cornfield, their mindfulness meditation teacher certification program. Yeah, so I just want to take a moment to welcome each one of you in. All of my queer folks that are here today, all my brown folks, black folks, white folks, and lots of the other racial and ethnic designations that are out there. Just taking a moment to acknowledge all of what is seen and unseen in you, and excuse me, seen and unseen in you, and taking a moment to just welcome in really every part of you. There are parts of us that we hide. There are parts of us that we don't show to the outer world, but we show to our really closest friends. And I think that there are even parts of us that we haven't discovered for ourselves yet. And it's fun to be curious about that and just take a moment to really put your hands on your heart and take a deep breath and really feel yourself and welcome yourself in. So the bathrooms are back there. After class today, I will get your email addresses and I will send you a student agreement as well as a list of agreements on how we plan on treating each other when we're in this space. Being respectful of one another, allowing one another space to speak, and recognizing that we may not always see things the same way, one and another, and that we need to give space for that. I would love to start actually today with a quote from Ram Dass. The theme of this class is going to be loving kindness. Loving kindness is also known as Metta, Metta. And loving kindness is a practice, a meditation practice that we can do to offer ourselves loving kindness or offer others loving kindness in the form of phrases like, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be free. And as we meditate and you think about yourself or about somebody whom you love, and you repeat these phrases, um, we are cultivating loving kindness for them um, or for ourselves. So we'll get back into that a little more detail in a little bit. But for now, let's just get started with a quote, like I said, from Ram Dass. Um, Love is actually a part of you. It's like the subatomic texture of the universe, the dark matter that connects everything. And when you tune into that flow, you will feel it in your own heart, not your physical or your emotional heart, but your spiritual heart, the place you point to in your chest when you say, I am, I am. Ram Dass is a great spiritual teacher who brought a lot of these Eastern practices over to the West, practices that very often came from places like India, Japan, Nepal, as you may be familiar with other famous teachers like the Dalai Lama and Ram Dass. Um, he has lots of talks online. I really encourage you to listen to some of his talks. Just deeply humble and inspiring person. Okay, so from here, let us start with just a little bit of movement practice. Um, so we can wake our bodies up a little bit and just get moving a little bit. So I'm going to invite you to stand and just plant your feet. Plant your feet. You can bring your feet out wide so you have a nice, wide, stable base for your body. Let your arms drop down to your side and just see. You can just start to move your body a little bit, just swinging it side to side, beginning to observe what might be coming up for you in your body. Noticing if you're holding tension, or if you're feeling anxious, or if you're thinking about what you're going to have for dinner. Just noticing these things. Continuing to sway a little bit, move back and forth. We're going to start to lengthen our breath. So come to a still place and either close your eyes or find a spot a few feet in front of you to gaze your eyes gently on. And we're going to inhale through our noses and exhale through your mouth with pursed lips. Inhale nice and deep. As you inhale, feel the belly, chest, rib cage expanding and filling through the lungs. And exhale, allowing all the breath to empty, empty. Inhale nice and deep, round down through your feet, rise up through your thighs as you inhale, and exhaling through the mouth nice and slow. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more breaths here. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Take a second, just shake your feet out, shake your hands out, shake those legs out, and shake those hips out a little bit. And gently roll your neck, gently roll your neck. Oh, move your body, how it feels good to you. Move your body, how it feels good to you. So from here, I'm gonna let the arms drop down to your sides again and just start to twist. Allowing your arms to just slap against your body. Twist back and forth. Getting both sides of your body to move at the same time produces bilateral movement, which allows both sides of the brain to get moving and working and can take you out right. Here, we're just gonna make some big circles backwards with our arms. Forwards. And we're going to take the right leg. You can make a circle, draw a circle, half circle on the ground. Good. Back forward, around, forward, around, forward, around, forward. Other side. Around, around. You've ever done ballet before? This will be a little familiar. Just trying to get those hips moving, open them up, get some healthy body juices going in there. Do some circles with our hip. That's an ankle. Do some circles with our ankles that way and this way. A little cracking, a little crunching in there. A little lost balance. Good. Okay. I just want you to take the next 30 seconds and just do whatever feels good in your body. Um, for me right now, I need a forward fold. So I'm going to come forward and just allow my belly and shoulder blades to drop and listen. Roll back up as you're ready. And come on back down. Just right. Well, I hope that those movement prep will. How do you feel in your body after those movement practices? How do you feel coming back down to sit? Did you have more energy when you walked in the room? Do you feel more energetic now? Do you feel looser? I feel happy, charged up, all relaxed and calm in my body, confident. So, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking about loving kindness today. And, why is this such an important topic as we start to talk about mindfulness? Um, to be able to be mindful, um, mindfulness is the non judgmental awareness of the present moment, not wanting to change anything, not wanting for anything to be different, not wanting more or less of anything. Um, yeah, so um, to be able to do that and notice when we are judging something, we need to be able to befriend our minds. So often we want to judge and we are, uh, so that we can keep ourselves safe, right? If we really go back, we really go back to understanding the structure of our brain, right? We have this most interior part that's called the uh, reptilian part of our brains, the amygdala, the brainstem, the corpus callosum, and other parts. Um, I may have named a wrong one there. I'm sorry if I did. But I can bring a picture of the brainstem next time and we can show you exactly the reptilian part of the brain, um, which was the very primitive, uh, primitive uh, appearance of our brains, right? The primitive, the very first part of our brains. If you think about, it's called reptilian brain. Why is that? Um, what does a snake do? As far as we understand, as far as our understanding is today, um, or the way we want to frame it, as science always did, is that there's the snake just wants to eat or wants to fuck, or it wants to adjust its body temperature, right? Or it wants to run from a predator. Not very many for snakes. um, or hide itself or these kinds of things, right? So the reptilian part of our brain only responds to things like that, right? It's only able to produce a response that says either I need to get out of here, or I want more of this, or I need to become something different, right? So if we understand that that is the very first stimulus or response that we're getting from our brains, right? Because our brains are kept wired to keep us safe. And as a result of being wired to keep us safe, we are continuously looking in our environment for signals that we are safe, that we are not safe, and this kind of thing. So, um, safe, not safe, and this kind of thing. So, if we can bring awareness to that, that is the basic, excuse me, excuse me, that is the basic first reaction of the brain, then we can start to work with that, right? Um, yeah. So just to recap, the most primitive part of our brain is the reptilian brain. This is the very first place where we uh, get a signal and decide if we want to either go closer to it, away from it, or have to become something different, right? If that makes sense. Now, we have the frontal cortex. We have all of this information that's on top, right, in the gray matter, all of our memories, neurons, all of this is stored up there. Um, like what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, all of that is all as you perceive, it's all adding up to make your perception, right? To make that idea of your experience, right? So if we can learn to work with that reptilian part of our brain and understand when it's being reactive and just wanting to push away or get closer to, we can start to work with that, use the prefrontal cortex to regulate ourselves and say, oh, I'm feeling super anxious right now and I feel like I have to run, but am I anxious? Do I have to run? Am I in danger? No. Okay, so yes, I feel anxiety. Okay, maybe we can learn to take care of ourselves when we feel anxiety. Maybe we can learn to respond to anxious signals in our bodies in a different way, such as saying thank you, right? What if we just said thank you to our anxiety and said, well, I see that you're there, you're my protective feature, and I don't need you to be so alert right now. So thank you. And you can start to work through that anxiety differently. If there's anything coming up that you don't understand, you want clarity about, you have any questions, don't hesitate to post a comment. Um, yeah, so, I ask you, do you love yourself? In this climate, in this atmosphere, we are not taught to love ourselves. Quite the opposite, in this capitalistic hellscape, we are constantly being sold things. We are constantly being told that we're not enough, that we need to be different. Um, experiences of homophobia, experiences of, family alienation, and these kinds of things can really program messages into our minds and bodies that we shouldn't love ourselves because we are not good enough. We are not perfect enough, right? Um, And I know for myself, this is something I really had to cultivate. I really had to intentionally work on. I was given a lot of messages of not enoughness, that I was wrong, like I was presenting wrong. Um, Queerness, never came out until much later, and it's still getting messages from my family that it's wrong. Um, and so internalizing all of this, um, is kind of what we do automatically as kids, right? Like if we're not thinking about it, we're not taught to question how people are telling us, if we're not taught to question the judgments that other people are putting upon us, um, we get stuck with these terrible ideas of ourselves in our heads. Um, so through these practices, I mean, we're so lucky to be able to end up in these rooms with these practices and start to practice loving kindness. So, like I said, this is something that took a lot of practice for me. One of the first times I was kind of introduced to the idea of to this specific idea. So, I took a quick little course with another coach called Tara Lee Weathers. She's a huge fish fan, so if you love fish, you should go check her out. Um, Tara Lee Weathers. Um, and her coaching program started like around her body and body image because that's something that she had really struggled with growing up. She was a cheerleader and really had beat herself up about certain parts of her body, just like I have, and I'm sure a lot of you have. Um, and she was developing an eating disorder and just feeling a lot of self-hate. And at some point realized that first of all, that is not her, right? Like all of these identities and labels and things that she was putting on herself, telling herself that she had to be something else, is not us, right? That's not us. That's not who we are deeply inside, right? Like we know that we aren't our judgments. We aren't um, the homophobia. We aren't the programming that we were given to tell us that, you know, that we were wrong in any way. Working with our brains because our brains are always looking for trouble. So if we're looking for trouble, are we looking for love? No, right? We have to remind ourselves to look for love. Um, yeah, and the chemistry of love is something. So yeah. Um, so back to Tara Lee. So uh, she introduced the idea of every time you catch your own eyes in a mirror, to say I love you, and to specifically stand in front of the mirror. And, for me, it was my belly for a long time or my breasts. I have pretty large breasts, so I carried a lot of shame around them. I had family members that would tell me that they were like a shelf, that I should just place a glass here. I think they were bigger when I was younger, so can't do that so much anymore. But see, that idea sticks. Um, for Tara Lee, it was her ass and her thighs. And she's a gorgeous big ass, but the whole culture around that changed too, right? I mean, it's just we are given cultural cues about whether or not we are falling into line, if we're right or wrong, if we're going, too far away, straying too far from the norm. Um, we can start to notice that and notice when we're judging ourselves, notice when we're coming away from loving ourselves and bring ourselves back. So yeah, I just hope that that's kind of a practice that you can take with you. Actually, there are some mirrors in this room. So I invite everybody to go stand in front of the mirror, pick, um, and just look into your eyes and tell yourself, I love you 3 times. Okay. So y'all at home, yeah, just go look in a mirror, pause this for a little bit, and come back and just look into your own eyes and tell yourself, I love you 3 times. I love you. I love you. I love you. Did you notice how my whole face changed? I mean, yeah, I noticed. So, like I mentioned before, the practice we will be working with today is called the practice of loving kindness. Um, Most recently, Sharon Salzberg, a great mindfulness teacher, Um, has many writings and meditations out there that you should check out. I'm going to share a quote from her about loving kindness. So, loving kindness in Pali is Metta, Metta. So, Sharon Salzberg says, Metta is the ability to embrace all parts of ourselves, as well as all parts of the world. Practicing metta illuminates our inner integrity because it relieves us of the need to deny different aspects of ourselves. We can open to everything with the healing force of love. When we feel love, our mind is expansive and open enough to include the entirety of life in full awareness, both its pleasures and its pains. We feel neither betrayed by pain or overcome by it, and thus we can contact what is damaged and thus we can contact that which is undamaged within us, regardless of the situation. Metta sees truly that our integrity is inviolate, that our integrity is inviolate no matter what our life situation may be. Sharon Salzberg. So she wrote Loving Kindness, The Revolutionary Art of Happiness. And I encourage you to check that out whenever you get a chance. Um, yeah, so like I said, it is totally normal to have a hard time cultivating loving kindness for yourself. Um, like I've mentioned, we're not in a society that believes in our basic goodness. We are not in a society that wants to remind us that we are complete and beautiful human beings just the way we are. Imagine how many sales for makeup there would be if we all really believed that, right? Um, okay, so there are a couple of ways of practicing metta, and um, the basic framework is that we are going to be taking a human being and we are going to be offering them loving kindness. So the loving kindness is going to come through statements like, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be at peace, may you be loved. So just take a moment now, and as I repeat those phrases, close your eyes and just really take them in. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. May I be loved. Do it again. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. May I be loved. So you can open your eyes back up. Does anybody want to share what that experience was like for them? So the practice is a little bit longer than that. That's not just it, right? So in the development of this loving kindness, like I mentioned before, sometimes it's really hard to develop love for ourselves. I know that when I started this practice, that's not where I could start. Um, And that's what I was saying, that there's different formats to do this meditation in. Um, some folks might want to start by cultivating, so repeating those phrases for someone whom loves them already unconditionally, that really sees them as a person, that always shows up for you, that really loves you deeply. And this could be a dog, this could be a mentor, this could be a parent, this could be a sibling. So for today, that's what we'll do. The very first person you'll choose will be somebody who has unconditional love for you, cares for you deeply, and really sees you as a human being, makes you feel loved, really loved. And then from there, we will go to um, cultivating loving kindness for yourself. So you can take that love, that wholeness, that warmth that you feel from uh, practicing for the one who loves you so much, so unconditionally, and then transfer that light to yourself. And for today, it may be this just little tiny light of self love. Any minute, it just be like a crack, tiny little crack of light cracking through. But that's where the light gets in, right? That's where the healing begins. So we'll start with somebody who loves you unconditionally and deeply, feel really seen around and really loved. And then we will do, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may I be at peace for ourselves. And then I'm going to invite you to pick somebody at the register that you see every day, or your mailman, or the property manager, or somebody that you see but you don't really have a deep relationship with. Like you just see them every once in a while, you say hello in passing, and we'll cultivate and practice cultivating loving kindness for them. And then we will take somebody whom you love very deeply, um, that you really feel so much warmth and love for. And we will cultivate loving kindness towards them. And then we will expand. Finally, we will expand to include all beings everywhere. So this means even that neighbor who you find really annoying. That this means that person in the opposite political party that you're really angry with. And, I mean, I'm not saying that as you practice that you should think of all these really difficult people to cultivate love for. Um, the reason why we expand it to be all beings everywhere is that, as I mentioned before, mindfulness is a non judgmental awareness of the moment to moment experience, right? So if we're going to be non judgmentally aware of everybody, then that has to include the really difficult people in our lives. So, does everybody understand like the basic parameters of this meditation? Okay, great. If you don't, leave a comment, ask a question. I'm happy to come back and answer it later. So take a comfortable position. This is something I want to talk about too. I'm sorry to interrupt again. That meditation, I think people have an idea that they have to sit in a certain way, that they have to be in a certain way, that they have to shut all the thoughts off and all of this. Sit however makes you comfortable, where you can be attentive and noble, right? You want to feel that you're really holding yourself grace and attentiveness and self-respect. Um, So if for you that means sitting on your knees, if that means putting the cushion under your behind and sitting in a cross-legged position, that's great. There are some chairs available. Please pull up a chair. Or if it's more comfortable for you to be supine or lying down all the way, do that as well. I know for myself, it's much easier for me to fall asleep if I'm laying down. I can fall asleep sitting, standing. I am not somebody who has usually problems getting to sleep. Um, so yeah, just being aware of that and making, supporting yourself. That's part of self-love. That's part of showing up for these mindfulness practices. We are supporting ourselves and showing up better for ourselves and for the rest of the world. Inevitably, if we're taking care of ourselves, we are taking care of our community. Um, I sat a retreat beginning of July, and um, this year has been quite tumultuous um, for the globe, for the globe for sure, for the globe for sure. And um, we can get really like start to chase our tails around. Like, should I be should I be protesting? Should I be showing up for this? Should I go to North Carolina and help with rebuilding there? Um, I need to protest for protest against the occupation of Palestine. I need to, um, go volunteer at the food bank. Everybody's going hungry, and I think it can become very overwhelming to feel like you have to do all of these things to contribute to society. And yes, we definitely need to be active. We definitely need to be taking our mindfulness practices out into the world. And one of the best things we can do is show up right here. Sit our butts down on our meditation cushions or sitting down in a chair and just taking a moment to take care of ourselves, to observe what's going on in our minds, to observe what judgments are happening, what we are craving, and be able to, you know, discern what's useful, what's wise, what's productive in the moment. Is my worrying about Palestine productive right now? Is my doom scrolling or watching the news all day um, causing me more angst than making a positive contribution in the world? If I sit on my cushion, quiet my mind, quiet the judgments, then maybe that peace that I'm cultivating can bring peace to others. If we're grounding ourselves and slowing down, this will cultivate the best way for us to be able to show up for other people. So, like I said, let's jump into this metta practice. If you want to take a comfortable seat, or stand, or lay down, whatever's best for you right now. For the sleepiness, as I mentioned before, standing sometimes for me is a great solution. Excuse me. Um, because it helps keep me awake. Okay. So let's just take 3 breaths here with a big sound at the end. So we're releasing a little bit as we get settled in. Inhale. Inhale. One more. So you can let your hands rest, wherever's most comfortable for you so that they feel supported. Gently close your eyes or allow them to rest 3 or 4 feet in front of you. Begin to observe your breath, observing as you inhale through your nostrils, cold air going in, the hot air going out. As I breathe in, I notice I'm breathing in. As I breathe out, I notice I'm breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. If you find your mind is very busy with thoughts, you can bring your attention down into your belly, even placing your hand on your belly if you like. And as you inhale, expanding the belly, exhale, contract. Whenever you're meditating, if you get distracted or pulled into thought, no matter what kind of meditation we're doing, you can return to your breath, either where you feel the cold air entering your nostrils and the warm air exiting, or in your belly, inhaling, expanding, and exhaling, pouring in. Allow your hips and your sit bones to feel supported, or if your feet on the ground, allowing them to feel supported. Basically, wherever your body is making contact with the surface, allow yourself to drop in and really feel fully supported by that surface. And now I would like you to bring to mind somebody who makes you feel safe, who offers you unconditional love, and really makes you feel seen. As you bring this person to mind, you can start to repeat, may you be happy, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be healthy, may you be at peace, may you be at peace, and may you feel loved. Holding that person who loves you unconditionally, or that animal like your dog, and again, just repeating to them, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be at peace, may you be at ease. Taking just a moment to observe how that feels in your heart. That center place you can point to when you think I am. And holding that place of love and shifting your attention over to yourself. See if you can take that glowing orb of light that you offered up and bring it into your heart, offering it to yourself. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. May I be at ease. One more time. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. May I be at ease. Now, bring to mind the mailman or the cash register at the grocery store or the guy you buy your gas from or the barista at the coffee shop. Hold them in your heart and offer them the same love, peace, and kindness you just did for yourself and for your unconditional love. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they be at peace. And may they be at ease. May they be happy. May they be healthy. Bringing that barista to mind and holding them in your heart space. May they be peace. And may they be at ease. And taking a deep breath here, and if you want to, taking a moment to connect back to that person who loves you unconditionally. Kind of recharge your heart, feeling that white orb of love for this other person in your chest. And now we will expand that white globe of love to expand and hold the entire planet, all beings everywhere. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they be at peace. May they be at ease. And one more time. May they be happy. May they be healthy. May they be at peace. May they be at ease. And then we'll just spend the next minute or so just bringing our attention back to the breath, body, and just notice what has shifted. As you're ready, you can start to blink your eyes open, back into the room. Give some circles with your neck if you'd like. How was that for everybody? Made me feel more love and relaxed. Yeah, I feel radiant with love right now. Um, there's one question that came up, and the question was that it was really, really hard for me to develop self love, to really feel that may I be happy, may I be healthy for myself. Is that normal? I want to say, yeah, that is really normal. Like I said before, our social conditioning is not one that brings us peace or tells us that we're basically good or tells us that we are enough. Those are messages that we have to learn to give ourselves, you know, um, between our brains being programmed to look for what's wrong and where we're in danger, and the prevalence of homophobia and fear mongering and separation of society lately, that it's totally normal that you're having a hard time developing that self love. And, I really encourage you to just keep practicing this week. Just, and if it's too much or too long for you to go through the whole thing, um, really just practicing those two pieces of this person who loves you unconditionally and sees you, values you unconditionally, and yourself. Keep it short. Keep it short. And, you can do a minute on the other person and a minute on yourself and see what happens. Try practicing that every day. Another good way to practice these love and kindness practices is to just check out other teachers online. I really encourage you to, like I said, check out other teachers online. There are so many different kinds of meditation, teachers, yoga sequences that find what works for you, you know. Find what works for you. It may take a lot of trial and error. Um, all right. We got some light here. Um, Another question that came up was, why do I need to cultivate love, loving kindness for these people who hate me, people who have discriminated against me, people whose values do not align with mine at all? And I think that it goes back to that piece of non-judgment. If we don't study and learn these practices, our minds will run the show. We will be, grabbing for this, running from that, saying that I need to be different, I need to be skinnier, I need to be prettier, I need to be more masculine, more feminine, I need more juice, I need more pizza. I want to become a meditation teacher. All of these things are labels that I'm putting on myself, are judgments, are things that I want to push away and grasp at. And if I don't start to notice those things, I can very easily become an extremist or somebody who has such strong beliefs that they can't see that anybody else's beliefs might be true, might be helpful. Um, so um, Yeah, it's just really going back to that piece of non-judgment and understanding that we have that we are animals and we have reptilian brains. And unless we're really using that prefrontal cortex, the things that we learn along the way to help us regulate and make good decisions, that we may end up taking actions um, that we might hate ourselves for, right? Um, or be really upset at ourselves about. And if we can take that kind of compassion and notice that it has taken a lot of practice for you to get here, right? To even sit here for this video or sit here in this room to learn meditation. Um, it took a lot of self control to sit through this whole video for almost an hour. And to show up for this class to say, yeah, I'm going to go sit and be quiet. There was a study done recently where people were given the option of sitting and being quiet for 30 minutes or hitting a buzzer over there to get electrocuted before the 30 minutes were over. Something like 80% of the participants went and got electrocuted rather than sitting for 30 minutes. So I commend you for being here and for sticking it out. You know, it's not easy. You know, we need to practice. We need to sit here. We need to learn to observe our thoughts and remember that we don't have to believe everything we think. You know, I think that that's a big key here, really. That we think we may hate somebody else. You know, we've decided that this other person is different enough from us, um, or has done things that deserve for us to want malintention for this person, right? For them to be, for them to have to yeah, have to have less, live less, not have as great as a life as you do, because you hate them. You know, that's not the essence of this practice. Um, you know, and I think that many of us and all of us, when we start here, cultivating loving kindness for all beings everywhere is really very hard, very, very hard, especially for those of, you know, those people who've been abused a lot or have been cast out by society or made to feel unwanted so often that it's hard to forgive those people, right? It's hard to hold space for people who have hurt us because we have judged, yeah, for people that hurt us. And it's hard to have that forgiveness. It's hard to hold them in loving kindness. Through this work, I've been really lucky. I've been learning how to forgive others, and I'm not forgiving others for them, right? I'm not forgiving others to give them relief for the harm that they caused me. No, no, I am forgiving them in my own heart so that I can so that I can find love for that person. Um, because I truly believe that we are not these physical bodies. And just like Ram Dass said at the beginning, right? That love is actually a part of you. It's like the subatomic texture of the universe, the dark matter that connects everything. When you tune into that flow, you will feel it in your own heart, not your physical or your emotional heart, but your spiritual heart. The place you point to in your chest when you say, I am, I am. think that one of the most beautiful things about mindfulness is that, we're here to learn about our minds, and our experience and how we, navigate through all of that. And as a result of that, we get to also learn about other people's minds and how they're doing the best to navigate things as well, um, doing their best to navigate things. And, um, you know, developing that self compassion, saying, yeah, I showed up. I went to work with my mind. I you know, practiced using my frontal cortex to regulate my emotions and my actions. Um, yeah, you know, celebrate yourself, offer yourself self compassion, and with time, I promise you'll be able to do that more and more for others as well. Thank you for your time. Namaste.